The world is a lockdown. Rinoa, he fell asleep. Stay until 5 a.m. Yes, in spite of my commentary, I couldn't push past. I ended up saying less than usual, so welcome way back to Suplexing4Rinoa. Back in episode 1, where this was just a review/podcast rather than the commentary during, so good news is this will be a lot shorter now because of that reason. Might actually get a little more views this way, who knows? I swear I don't know what goes on with the views sometimes. I did that haunted house thing, I got like next to nothing, and the pumpkin thing before it I got like 800 or so. But I will still link the pay-per-view in the description as always so you can watch this yourself if you want before you listen to this. But going forward, I will save like open commentary stuff for things that won't go past maybe like 30 minutes from now on. So yeah, for the rest of the TNA stuff I have, it's going to be podcast style. I'm pretty sure no one's going to complain about this change. Clearly it's the better for me as well. With that said, the show goes on, and here is Suplexing4Rinoa, TNA Lockdown, which took place April 19th, 2009. AJ Styles and Daniels minus the name Christopher. So did they do it before WWE? But they arrived in an earlier today shot in the parking lot as that song I was singing earlier, the Bullet with a Butterfly Wings. I should have to look up what that was. Look up what it was. I'm not a big Smashing Pumpkins listener. But yeah, it's the pay-per-view's theme song. Meanwhile, the main event Mafia make their way in full force. So yeah, 2009, this is main event Mafia era versus the TNA frontline of the current now generation. The up-and-comers. Except kind of not really, because AJ's won every championship before all this, so it still feels weird. Mafia already made up of already established stars outside of TNA, Sting, Booker T, Scott Steiner, Kevin Nash, and Kurt Angle. Cut to the IWGP Tag Champions, Team 3D. They do a very strong Philadelphia promo. We're in the real nitty-gritty. They're off to do a Philadelphia street fight against the TNA Tag Champs, Beer Money. And to top it all off, Billy Corgan himself opens up with a spoken word version of the song I mentioned. Complete with the quote, "Despite all your rage, you're still just a rat in the 6 sides of steel cage." So, going into this, I was pumped, and then I remember not being quite so pumped later as the pay-per-view would go on. Still, hell of a start. The first match is an X Division Escape match. 4 challengers comprising of 2 tag teams, Lethal Consequences of Black Machismo J Lethal, yeah, and Consequences Creed. Young Boy Austin Creed, yes. The other tag team of maybe yet, maybe not yet, World Elite of Kiyoshi and Sheik Abdul Bashir. They all gotta try and take the X Division title away from man number 5, Suicide! Come alive! However that song goes. An alright match, good start. The tag tandem offense from Lethal Consequences eliminate Kiyoshi. The more veteran Bashir manages to eliminate first Creed with his finish, the WMDDT, subtle. And then Suicide hits Lethal with the Suicide Solution, which that move gets nothing from the crowd. They're like, I thought that was his big finish or something like that. The crowd does not react at all. But it allows Bashir to sneak attack and eliminate Lethal. So now we're down to 2. Now you gotta escape the cage via the front door or over the top to win the title. Bashir getting thrown and almost manages to kick the door open, and Suicide quickly has to pull him back in before he escapes. As it looks like Suicide is about to win, Kiyoshi returns to try and stop him from the floor. Security trying to stop Kiyoshi. Suicide says, okay, all these people are out here on the floor. Let me leap from the top of the cage onto him and win. Backstage with, I don't remember her last name, but I remember a Lauren. I don't remember her last name. I do remember her being Abyss's girlfriend, that storyline for a bit. And yeah, we're in that a little bit as well. She's interviewing AJ Styles with the Legends Championship and Daniels, without the name Christopher, like I mentioned. They know nothing where the other half of their Lethal Lockdown team of Jarrett and Samoa Joe to have their match against the main event Mafia sans Sting He will be in the main event defending his TNA Championship against Mick Foley. The next match is a Queen of the Cage match. I guess she's not quite yet in the Beautiful People. She's representing them, but they mentioned that she doesn't have the Beautiful People theme music. It's coming out to music I don't even recognize. Madison Rayne. I guess this is literally like initiation phase right now. But yeah, Madison Rayne versus Sojourner Bolts versus the late Daphne versus accompanied by rookie-ass Cody Deaner is ODB. Deaner, who now I believe, I looked him up, I'm like, oh yeah, that is him. Looking like real dangerous in the Violent by Design faction. That is current TNA. Current Impact, I should say. TNA is not part of the vernacular anymore, I believe. I'm just confused because it was all TNA stuff. But anyway, this match goes one fall to the finish. Here's where I started to drift a bit, trying to keep motivated. ODB wins with a slam on Sojo after she spits in her face with a mist of flask booze. I guess it's legal in a cage match capacity? I don't know. I don't remember Stone Cold ever doing that with a Steve Weiser on somebody during. And is drinking during a match considered using a foreign object? Could it be considered a case of maybe like, what's it called? Medicinal enhancement of some sort? Can the ref on a normal match DQ that sort of thing? Yeah, I paid more attention to that than this whole match took place, no lie. even during the commentary, I was like, 3 times during this video of this pay-per-view, the audio just went silent. Did the live pay-per-view have this happen and then they couldn't fix it for the YouTube video for whatever reason? I don't know. But anyway, the IWGP Junior titles are on the line in this really good triple threat Texas Tornado match. Representing Latin American Exchange is Hernandez and Homicide. The Tomb of No Limit from New Japan, it's Tetsuya Naito, not quite tranquilo yet, and not quite Bullet Club Yujiro Takahashi. 2009 still seems like Russo-era TNA, so when No Limit comes out, they come out to the racist Asian music with the gong and everything. Like, to describe their theme, if Lex Luger can have, as OSW Review called it, one of his WCW themes, generic biddle music, this is the Asian equivalent of that, the Asian foreigner equivalent of that. One look up on YouTube later, the title of the song is called Omori. It sounds more Chinese than Japanese. And it's also the same theme used for Okada and the Great Muta, according to one comment below. Dang it, Dale. Dale Oliver, the artist, been mentioning for this song. And the third team defending these junior tag titles with their generic-ass music that sounds like something out of a kid's show or something, like generic end credits music, in my opinion. It's the Motor City Machine Guns. Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. We get a how's your nuts moment with Homicide, or en español, ¿Cómo están tus nueces? Sabin tries to get an hello, Hernandez. He does this twice in the match and just gets, like, punished each time. Like, poor Sabin getting shoulder blocked into the ring. Like, if you like Hernandez doing big strength, big boy shit and just tossing dudes all over the place, this match will tickle your fancy for sure. Because they're locked in there with Hernandez. Hernandez just flinging people left and right. Especially the Guns. Just, I think those guys are in there more, so I guess they like, maybe it's like a trust thing, so they're just like, alright, throw me into the cage. The other two teams trying to do some crazy tag tandem moves. Hernandez gets splashed by the four members of the other teams. When Shelley goes in for like the second splash, Hernandez powers out, and then Hernandez dodges and gets a splash from Yujiro. Drop kick from Naito, splash from Homicide, huge full body splash from Hernandez. Sabin tries again with that Aloha Hernandez, and gets tossed even harder via a release suplex. Like, back to the cage, and he might have landed on his head, too. I don't know how he got back up that quick. After a few more minutes, the Guns rally and do tandem offense. They retain their titles with looks like a top rope combination of Shelley doing a sliced bread as Sabin does a powerbomb on Naito. They call it the Made in Detroit. And they retain their IWGP Junior Tag Team titles. Lauren backstage is concerned about her boyfriend, the Monster Abyss. He's in a white outfit. He's been in psychiatric therapy with this Dr. Stevie, and apparently is trying to rehabilitate him, basically telling him, you can't use weapons anymore when you wrestle, which is going to be kind of hard because he's facing Matt Morgan in a Doomsday Chamber of Blood match. Yeah, we're definitely Russo up in here with this. It's like First Blood match, but with extra steps, because it just starts with the blood. You have to draw blood on your opponent before you can pin or submit the man. So yeah, you gotta bleed him first. Then he's eligible to be beaten. And it's Matt Morgan, before entering the cage, grabs a chair with one hand and a black bag in the other. You might as well flip a coin at this point. Heads for thumbtacks, tails for shards of glass. But yeah, Abyss grabs the steel chair from Morgan after a boot down for him for the bare hands, and he looks over the chair. He's like, Doctor told me not to use weapons. Do I use the weapon? Do I not use the weapon? And while he's debating this, boom, a big boot to his face while the chair is there. Matt takes it and throws it out of the cage. I was wondering what the deal with that was. But TNA on the Money mentioned, it's so Abyss can't think to use it later. That's a professor for you. Don West adds, he did it because he doesn't need it anymore. And because sure enough, that kick to Abyss with his own chair hitting him in the face, Abyss is eligible to be pinned now. Morgan lays into shots trying to open that cut even further with his bare hands as he fails to get the 3 count. And then the answer to the question of what was in that black bag? Glass. Morgan gets Abyss to the glass and is very sickeningly holding Abyss over it, like squeezing juice from an orange. Who's juicing Abyss onto this glass like he's bleeding profusely? Like, oh my god. He's juicing Abyss non-wrestling vernacular terminology as Abyss is juicing wrestling terminology vernacular. If that makes sense. One of the glass shards is long enough for somebody to pick up and use as a weapon. Abyss fights Morgan off doing this before Morgan can use that. Starts throwing Morgan into all 4 sides of that cage. Or all 6 sides, I should say. We ain't 4 sides just yet. Hits a choke slam and goes for the pin. He's not bleeding it yet, though, so the ref is like, no. He's not bleeding. It doesn't count. By now, Abyss's white outfit is already getting the red splotches. That's how busted open he was. Ref bump as Abyss dodges a top rope crossbody from Morgan. Abyss now has an opportunity. He picks up that long glass shard and wham! Crushes it right into Morgan. West on commentary, who I think might be working heel color commentary now a little bit. This might be the post, just let me finish, please. But in this match, he says, if you're gonna do it the proper way. The proper way of opening someone up with a shard of glass. I don't think I will be having much parties with the Don West house. What is the proper way to do that? Enlighten us. Do I dare ask? But sure enough, that opens Morgan up, so black hole slam, but the ref's still down. We need another, and in that hesitation of moments that it takes for the second referee to get to the match, Morgan kicks out. Abyss opens the door and leaves the cage to get to that throne chair, trying to get that back into the ring so he can use it. And Dr. Stevie shows up, and I assume it's a debut because today's all, I got a good look at his face. I assume that's Stevie Richards. So yeah, Dr. Stevie grabs the chair from Abyss and tells him, don't use this. Go finish the match without it. So Abyss kind of cow turns right into the face first in a carbon footprint for Morgan to almost the 3 count. Abyss, instead of the chair, goes out again and finds and spills out. He gets another black bag. This one with thumbtacks. Stevie's like incensed. He's like, he races to that kid from the outside of the cage into the ring through the open door and starts slapping Abyss around. And then before anything escalates from that, Morgan asks Abyss, "How's your nuts?" Hits a sit-down powerbomb on the tacks for the win. Jeremy Borash with normal hair in an interview with Jeff Jarrett, who arrived earlier. I don't know if I mentioned that in earlier today. It might have been during one of these matches. He just arrived and that was just the end of it, and they just went to commercial and then in the next match or whatever. But yeah, Jeff's been real defensive about whose side is he on. He says, I might be paraphrasing or quoting here, but AJ and Daniels are worried about me? About the phone call I got from Steiner? They need to worry about themselves. Where were they the last 6 months? I think I should start relying on myself. Tonight I'm going to do what I've always done, and that's the right thing. He goes to leave his locker room, open the door, boom! Joe standing right there in front of him. And this is Nation of Violence, face tattoo. Samoa Joe. With that knife machete thing. I remember him threatening Steiner with once. He was like, "You tried to kill me with a sword, Lauren? What's going on?" In so few words, he tells Jeff, "No tricks." Triple threat for the Knockouts Championship. Taylor Wilde, who I think recently came back to TNA in 2021, versus Angelina Love, who was working in Ring of Honor before that promotion stalled and all contracts were up. And to the future Hall of Famer, the year-long reign of Awesome Kong. Mr. TNA announcer, the late great Barry Scott, stated that for 18 months, she's been champion for 12 of them. I don't know if I can do that voice justice either. Already got more hate for the Matt Barry thing I did earlier. Oof. But yeah, I think I have rotten luck with the whole imitation voice thing. But yeah, Awesome Kong's angrier than usual because they mentioned before her hair has been cut by the beautiful people. I'm like, they got a death wish? But yeah, some of her braids are like shortened. So now we have this temporary alliance of Wilde and Kong battering Angelina. I say temporary because once Angelina's down, Kong motions for Wilde to run at her for that. It's that spot where the big person picks up the small person and slams them like chest first horizontally onto the other person already down on the mat. So Kong picks up Wilde and slams her on the floor next to Angelina. Just boom. Oh, best spot of the night in my opinion. Laughed my ass off on commentary for that one. This match. One too many cameras. Too many cooks. Because the side cam completely misses most of Kong doing a giant swing on one of them. I don't recall. I couldn't even see it because the camera was so far away. And then Kong does a top rope somersault splash that misses Angelina, but the crowd goes apeshit for that, and rightfully so. First Scott D'Amore, now Awesome Kong. Big people doing crazy-ass moonsaults and shit. Yeah, crowd were like literally on their feet. Everybody in that was like. But this gives Velvet Sky, who's on the outside of the cage, a chance to eliminate Kong from the equation. She grabs her complete braids and ties it up into the steel cage, into the rings of the steel cage. So this leaves Wilde to choke out Angelina for a while, and Wilde's like, what's going on with Kong? She goes to check on her. She gets a boot from Kong. This is enough to knock her right into a waiting Angelina, who gets the roll-up 3 count. New Knockouts champion, Angelina Love. Initially, I did not like this one in my commentary, but this was Smart Heel doing Smart Heel things. Take Kong out of the picture, sees an opportunity with the shove to get Wilde, to get her right in position and steal a big one. But yeah, overall, I would still kind of a little bit Even after explaining that, I'm a little... I guess that's how you get the title off of Kong. Team 3D drinking among fans being interviewed by Lauren. Very pro-Philly promo here from Devon. Quote, when we're done with you, you're going to have more cracks in your head than the Liberty Bell. Bubba Ray with Guns N' Roses reference with he says, do you know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. You're going to die. This is your left. I don't know. Damn it. I don't know why I thought of that. This is your left. You're going to die. Okay, no, wait. No, do that, but with, what's his name? With John Zandig. This is your left. You're going to die. I guarantee. Is that a Botchamania ending in some case? There's how many of those Botchamanias? I'm sure it may have come up at some point. But yeah, in the interview and then later in the opening preview segment, he quotes this from Axl Rose, you know where you are, you're in the jungle. Probably one of the better matches. Team 3D versus Beer Money. Winner takes all. The IWGP and the TNA tag titles are on the line. It's a street fight, so this match is also Tornado Tag. Everybody in. 3D fights Beer Money into the crowd up the stairs and then back down the crowd to outside the cage. Beer Money take it, though, and still on their feet, manage to turn things around, even using the cage door to slam Bully Ray face first to open him up. First table spot of this match is Devon getting tandem suplex off of steel steps onto the floor. So he's out for a while as Beer Money smartly take advantage of this, 2-on-1ing Bubba for a while till Bubba, fueled by this Philadelphia crowd, knocks James Storm getting pushed off and crotches himself on the ropes. Oof. How's your nuts? Top turnbuckle Bubba bomb that almost gets a 3 count. Oh, but man, was he hurting for a bit there, like holding his spine, holding his leg after that one a little bit. Just, man, whoo-hoo. Yeah, he took a hell of a bump. Took a little bit out of Bubba, too. Devon does get back in, almost pins Rude again. Now they get a table in, and in that time, Beer Money can take the advantage off the time it takes for 3 to get this big honking table into the ring and set it all up. Rude's about to toss Devon into the cell door from inside the cage and mentions for Storm, all right, slam it in his face. Devon, at the last second, reverses it, so Devon instead throws Rude into the cell door as Storm closes it, so Storm hits his own partner instead, and as he gets knocked back, he's right into a waiting 3D. So again, another knockback into the waiting finish, although this match was way better. He's wondering where he's at, but yeah, right into that waiting 3D onto the table. 22-time World Tag Team Champions Team 3D, as Tanae pointed out. 22 so far, as far as my recollection goes. Who knows how many more times they might have held championships. Borash backstage with the main event Mafia, who are feeling confident going in full force. Kurt Angle mentioning Booker wants revenge on AJ Styles stealing his championship. Critics say Steiner's washed up. Kurt says Steiner's been having the best matches of his career here, and Kevin Nash is ready after nearly dying to another staph infection. I mentioned that 4 lockdowns ago, his knee, but this time I think it was his elbow, because when he came out, that elbow was taped up. Or bandaged up, in a way. But yeah, Kevin Nash is here and ready to go. Kurt continues saying, quote, people say we're over the hill, that we can't go no more. What if Kurt Angle injures his neck again? What if Nash blows his knee out again? What if, what if. These young punks are hanging on the what ifs, knowing they can never beat us. Wrestlers come and go, but legends of the game always remain. We're going in against 3 competitors who are younger, faster, and stronger than us in Styles, Daniels, and Samoa Joe, but we know something they don't. You win matches with this, pointing to his head. It's time for Lethal Lockdown. 2 men start in the cage for 5 minutes. After that, every 2 minutes, another from one team joins in. Today mentions Jarrett gave the Mafia the man advantage, so they've always got an extra man in this cage till it fills up with everybody. Once all participants are in, the cage becomes a cell as a ceiling lowers with numerous weapons hanging from it. Only then can a win happen via pinfall or submission. But yeah, they just kind of boot on each other for a while till that final person is in and then the cage lowers. So we get the team captain Kurt Angle one-on-one against the man who they mentioned returned the Thursday Impact before this pay-per-view in Daniels and his new mutton chop-like go-to. Oh, 5 minutes in, here comes Booker T like a house on not fire. He does his pyro and grandstand while Daniels is choking out Angle. I mean, I know no one can win until that ceiling drops, but some urgency for your fellow Mafia member, maybe, perhaps, no? Huh? I don't know, I just thought that weird. I'm like, your leader's getting choked out, man. You wanna skip the whole... I mean, he walks out there, he doesn't exactly like... Unless he's all banged up, too, with the knees. But once he's in, they do 2-on-1 Daniels, so they only have to worry about get ready to fly, I was thinking. As AJ comes in, it's like, okay, keep it 2-on-1, keep it 2-on-1, take one guy out. But no, Daniels is fresh in there, and fresh enough to hit the total elimination on Booker. So it's all even until Steiner is in next, making the most of his 2 minutes. He comes in. He top rope belly-to-belly suplexes Daniels. He top rope Frankensteiner's AJ. Seeing this is enough to rally Booker and Angle out of their stupor of beatdown. So now it's 3-on-2. For like longer than 2 minutes even, since the next one out is Samoa Joe, but we see him backstage talking to someone, maybe? Talking to himself? Being talked to by someone? Never revealed. He's just sitting there backstage with like facing a curtain, and you can't see his face. There's a towel that over his face, so he's completely hidden. So I don't know if he's talking to someone or if someone's talking to him. But yeah, a full minute passes by the time Joe actually gets to the ring and hits any Mafia member that moves. So somehow, when Kevin Nash gets introduced next, he can get down there quicker than Samoa Joe. I just thought that was kind of... Nash with his horribly messed up quads by at this point. His blow it out knee or whatever. He like does like one of those run jogs for like maybe like a second or two and just like, no, okay, that's not working. Starts kind of fast walking. Joe greets him at the ramp with a boot to the cage door to smash Nash, but Nash gains the upper hand, leaving Joe outside for like a short while. In comes Jeff Jarrett and unloads right hands on everybody. And after a short sprint of that, the announcement is lower the cage. All participants have entered. Now we lower the cage and lockdown, so lethal lockdown can truly begin. Jarrett smartly takes to the top rope, says like, okay, these are coming down. I'm going to get weapons. I feel like he might have had this match before. If you've ever wondered if Bullet with a Butterfly Wing sounds like cage lowering music, wonder no more, because that's they're really pushing it too. But yeah, it kind of does if you think about it. If you just had an instrumental of it, that's all it really is. It's just the just on loop. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of like a remixed you know, when WWE does cage lowering music, it's always there's a guitar right by Jarrett, and I'm like thinking he's gonna grab that first, but no, he gets to grab and hand weapons to his teammates, and we get this weird, I can only describe it as like how a gun has like 6 chambers. This was like the Lethal Lockdown, like chamber camera shot, like 6 different screens. And in the middle was like the TNA logo with the Lockdown 2009 or whatever. And I could barely see shit with that, so thankfully that didn't last long. They decided, okay. Somehow Angle busts out of some of the bars of the ceiling to get atop the cage for a while. Styles in hot pursuit, so those two just batter each other for a bit by themselves. teasing getting thrown off the side of the cage. Angle asks AJ, how's your nuts? Leaving AJ on the top. So the Mafia temporarily gets back their man advantage. But AJ is indeed ready to fly. Motherfucker dives through this cage door on top and breaks through it and on top of the entire Mafia, just through the top of the cage, down on the floor to all of them. I'm like, I think one of his arms might have hit the side of the cage because it sounded nasty. It sounded like he slammed himself into that fucking cage. I mean, he did, but just... What if that door didn't give way? I guess it was designed to at that point. I'm just... My God, that spot. It's a beautiful spot, but again, it looked like he hit his arm on maybe like the side of the cage that didn't open, or just like the side of the doorway. So they brawl for a little bit more. Jarrett swings and accidentally catches AJ with a chair shot. Whose side is he on? Again, that's questionable. Like, is he in Mafia or is he out? Samoa Joe saves the match from ending in a 3 and gets in Jarrett's face, thinking pretty much like, no tricks, Steph, I told you. Daniel saves that pin attempt after Angle strikes from behind. Steiner saving Angle from Angel's wings. Jarrett's the only one standing. He does get that guitar ready. Teases like AJ or Booker. Both of them are dazed. He's like, okay. Boom! Nails Booker. AJ covers him for the win. They ain't dead. They ain't Jeff. But they are victorious. Lights go out. You get maybe like... I'm pretty sure they ain't dead, they ain't Jeff at this point, but it doesn't get to that point because the lights go out. Familiar music I remember with the engine revving, you know, the Bobby Lashley, I'll be a sumbitch. Kurt's laughing for some reason. Jarrett's kind of concerned. I'm like, was there something with that? I don't rightly recall Lashley doing anything with Mafia, so I doubt that. I'm pretty sure like he arrived for a little bit and then like his wife or whatever got involved, like, or some weirdness with that. But yeah, Lashley debut in TNA. Main event time! Sting defends the TNA Championship against Mick Foley, who is in full Cactus Jack mode, saying that all the cage matches I had in the past, they didn't have an escape clause, so this one won't either. Lock us in, pinfall or submission only. Jeremy Borash apparently didn't get that memo, even though Mick backstage told him of it. That's who interviewed him. But I guess what it all boiled down to was that the cell door was locked in, so you could still climb the cage to escape. So, maybe it's my fault thinking all the matches would be pinfalls/submission pins, unless otherwise advertised, like the escape match Suicide one earlier on. But yeah, Foley's promo clearly kind of hampered. He spent some Impact time saying how much Mick can't come to the phone right now. This is Cactus Jack we're speaking to. But at this pay-per-view, he does kind of like slip in and out of Mick Foley, kind of. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but as far as the match itself, Mick starts opening himself up with punches. He just like, kind of like how Flair does it. Like you could just like take like your knuckle to your forehead. He's clearly got like this bandage over his cut, but he starts hitting on that and it opens up immediately. Stinger splash into a climbing Foley, and it traps his leg and ankle in between the rope and the cage. It looks real nasty. I don't know if the camera got all of it, but maybe for the best, because Sting's got to work him over and try to get him out of that, because that's a very dangerous spot. But now, with the ankle there, it's like, okay, well, now I can work the ankle. Work that ankle and keep him from climbing the cage, or I get that Scorpion Deathlock in to get a submission win. Mick fights back and gets Sting in the Scorpion Deathlock. He does one of his own. Sting pushes himself out of it, but, he's hurt. Mick motions for the ref. Open the door. Huh? Hoist by his own stipulation. So, he notices the opening for the cameraman, like I mentioned, like where there's the cage and then there's like a hole where the camera can go through. Mick, like, baseball slides the cameraman away from like he's peeking through the hole. Bam! It's a baseball slide. Down goes the cameraman. Down goes the camera. and tries to escape through there, but Sting stops him and applies the Scorpion Deathlock while he's trying to escape the cage. He's trying to go through head first, so leaves his legs. So, snatched him right up. Mick fighting through, demanding the cameraman, hey, you get up and hand me that barbed wire baseball bat I brought out and threw out of the ring, thinking I wouldn't need it. Apparently he does need it. And they mention, like, just, the cameraman just, like, out of fear for his life, he just gives him the bat. And somewhere in this, Sting releases the submission, so Mick can get up on 2 feet and actually wield this thing. Sting sees the bat and it's like, oh, whoa, okay, whoa. Starts to back off a little bit. He's like, okay. Wait for Foley to swing. Swing and a miss. Sting fighting to survive and tries to escape. Mick takes the barbed wire bat to the leg of Sting to bring him down. Drop toe hold from Sting. Now he has the bat. Wham to the chest. Wham to the chest. Wham to the back. Wham to the back. Now he's rigging his eyes with it, and Sting gets how his nuts to escape. Does one of those, like, bat kick low blows. Mick then grabs the bat to attack, wraps some of the wire around. He gets out Mr. Sacco and then starts to wrap some of the barbed wire around it. Punch to the face, so now, at this point, Sting is opened up and beaten down. Mick begins to climb the cage. Sting sees it. I'm like, I won't reach him in time, so I'll race to do the same and climb the other side. They're both over. Foley, they're both over at the same time. I'm like, I can't it looks like Sting's just about to tie with him, and before he can, Foley just lets go once he's over the other side and just drops to the floor. He escaped first, so winner and new TNA World Champion, Mick Foley. And that was Lockdown 2009. What a difference 4 years can make. Not an irredeemably bad pay-per-view. Kinda lost most of the hype because, again, I've seen most of this pay-per-view. I was doing commentary and didn't have much to say because I was fighting off sleep. Main event time for that commentary, I was out. I woke up to Mick falling from the cage, hitting the floor, and winning the title, and I was like, oh fuck, well I wasted a whole day on this. I can't use this commentary now. Gotta just exit out. Still, I think the worst of it was the triple threat for the Knockouts Championship because of the real dusty finish. But even that match had some cool stuff in it. But again, most of this was like just the awkward camera positioning from some of the weird angles and stuff I missed in some of these, and they just kind of stopped doing replays. After one replay was shown, they completely missed a Bobby Roode kick out from that top rope bubble bomb. That's like, oh, let's see the bubble bomb again. They show it, and like, oh, during that, it's like, oh, while we were showing that, they went for a pin and Bobby Roode kicked out. So yeah, there was like no cool replays after that. The best match for me might have been that 6-man tornado tag for the junior tag titles. Just because everyone had cool shit, and Hernandez is a beast, just. But overall, like I said, not irredeemably bad. Irredeemably bad might be what I do next. I tried my damnedest to find the infamous 10-10-10 Bound for Glory pay-per-view, October 10th, 2010. Odds are I'd have to put my money down to see that, but what is for free is an episode of TNA Impact 3 days prior to that. So join me next time for TNA Impact Before the Glory. Until next time, take care, and thanks for listening.